Hi, I'm Jim and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop. Tonight we're going to talk about a chain case. I've been having a lot of questions from my male and female mechanics that can't get the key out of the shaft underneath of the clutch disc assembly. So we're going to take this nut off here. I got it loose. And we're going to take the lock washer off. Now this is, I get a lot of grief from calling these a cone shaped washer. This is a Belleville spring washer. Now it doesn't really tell you a whole lot about it. As you can see, it's cupped. Looks like kind of like a bowl. That's what I call it, a cupped washer. So most people know what I'm talking about. And I usually explain, like on where this one's positioned, the cup shape is down. It's bowed up. That way when you tighten a nut, it flattens the spring out. And that's what keeps the nut tight. Well, actually, technically, the lock washer in this nut is what keeps it tight. If this starts to back off, the spring that's built into this spring washer is what still keeps the chain or the cover on here tight. That is old school. They don't use, you won't see them used on anything but snappers. Now to get this key out, the easiest way that I found to remove this is with a pair of pliers. Now, I use a pair of these. I use them at work also for crushing the hose clamps around air hoses and oil hoses. I don't use the screw type because too many guys take them off and take them home. So I buy the ones that you crush on and I don't have a problem anymore. Now this pair of pliers, if you look close, the actual edge that does the gripping down here is quite a ways below the actual surface. You can see that little V in there. You can't get on that to pull it out because of that. It sticks up. When you go to pinch it, it hits on that angle and just lifts the pliers off. These, a lot of them, you got to watch the ones you buy. See these? They're the same way. The actual gripping part or cutting part is down inside of the pliers and it won't reach that Woodruff key because it doesn't stick up that high. These I got and the gripping edge is right at the top. And this works the best to pull them out. Now to grip onto them and just pull them, that's pretty hard. Let me turn this thing. What I usually do is I grip onto the key and I just tilt the pliers backwards. Wiggle it back and forth and it pulls the key out. Now, some of these keys are extremely tight and others are loose. You put them in there, I can hold this thing so you can actually see what a Woodruff key looks like. It is some people old timers call them half moons. It is a half circle key and it goes into a half circle cut that a Woodruff cutter makes. Now a lot of times these keys are loose, and this also has another coned washer in the back that's coned outwards. And if these are loose, when you go to put your chain case on, let me stick it in here if I can get it in. This one's extremely tight. I've had a lot of guys get a hold of me and say, when I put my assembly on, and I tighten a nut up, it locks the machine up. It won't move. But if I break the nut loose, then everything works. What's going on? Well, what happens when you slide this on, and the keyhole, the keyway is on the top, and on some of these that are loose, it'll hit the key and rotate it up. And you can't really see, there's the key sticking up. And what happens is when you tighten the nut on, it pinches the key between the back of the assembly and the bearing in the chain case, and it locks it up. Now, if you've got one that's really loose, you could put a little bit of super glue in there to hold it. Or I tell a lot of them to put it in there, take a thin, I dropped it, take a thin bladed long screwdriver, stick it in here, and hold the key so it won't move, and then slide your assembly on. But these are the pliers I use. You really got to look to find them, or most of them look like this. It's got that big V in the top. And I've even had a pair, a guy sent me and wanted me to fix these, he said. So I took them to work on a belt sander, and I belt sanded all this off until it came down till it was just a sharp edge like these are. I don't know what brand these are. You can't really read them too good. I can make out they're made in Germany. How about that? No Chinese stuff. Cool. But that type of pliers is what I have the most luck with, pulling them out. A regular pair of pliers will grip them, but because standard pliers are narrow, where these are quite wide, you don't have the power to rock them to pull that key out. That's how I get mine apart, just in case you're wondering. Now, I do have some good news. Let me move this camera over here. And the wife and I have been selling her school stuff. So guess what? I have room in here now. All this stuff is gone. And what we haven't sold yet is on that side in a pile. That's the side eventually is going to be turned into snapper repair. And this side over here will be woodworking. If I ever get this place totally cleaned up, I'll have a little shop tour. As you can see, for the last year and a half, I've been just wiggling in here, grabbing tools to work on stuff. And when I came back in, instead of moving a bunch of stuff to put the tools away, they've just all been piled on any flat surface there is in the shop. And even my radio arm saw over there is piled. So hopefully within the next week or so, I'll be able to clean all this mess up and actually have a shop again and get back to rebuilding things and back to woodworking. I guess that's about it. I hope it helped out some of you guys on this chain case. I have been getting a lot of comments lately about taking too much time explaining things. I had one guy send me a email that said, good video, but too much talky. Well, I guess then these videos aren't for you. These videos are to help people that need help. If you know what you're doing and you don't need help, don't watch my channel. Go watch someone else's. I don't really care. I'm here to help the person that wants to save anywhere from $60 to $95 an hour working on their machine. It's something simple they can do themselves. So, enough of that. Until my next video, which I'm really trying to get one out every week. The next one I may show you a new machine that I'm going to go get. Um, One of my viewers told me about it, and I'm in Muskegon. It's clear up in Traverse City, so I'm looking at probably 6 hours on the road to go get this thing. And the guy said the differential is shot, and he used to be a snapper dealer. And one of his customers brought it in, and he said, we can probably fix this thing, but there's a lot of issues with Briggs & Stratton right now, and we don't know if they're going out of business. He says, I don't know if we're even going to be able to get parts 5 years down the road when you need something else. So apparently the guy just said, well, I'm not going to fix it then. You can keep it. I don't know why he would have done that, but anyway, the guy sold it really cheap, and I couldn't pass it up. I got to go get it. And it's a big one. It's a 33-inch with a 17.5 horse engine on it, and it has a clamshell bagger that goes with it. So I'll probably rebuild what's wrong with it if it's not too extensive. The machine looks really nice from the pictures. He said the guy was very meticulous with it. He never sat outside. He never used it in the rain. He always cleaned it, and never would let anybody borrow it. What's wrong with that? I just can't figure that out. And he said it's in really great shape. Says the engine runs great. He says I just started it up, but he says if you push it really slow, you can move it. But he says if you try to shove it fast, the differential locks up. There's something, I'm kind of guessing the chain is broke in the differential. So we'll see. That'll be our next victim to tear apart. I've got a viewer that wants to bring his machine up and have me totally rebuild it. It's a Comet, and I'm a little leery because it's hard to find parts. I went on Parts Tree's website with his model number, and everything appears to be there that you can buy, with the exception of one of these covers for the chain case. It's obsolete. Well, they're pretty much, I would think, all the same. So, I don't know. And if I get it, I'll compare it to one of my covers and see if there is a difference. But that's not the issue with his. He says his runs, he just wants it fixed up. It was a family heirloom, I guess. It's been in the family since it was bought, and he wants to keep it. Don't we all? I've got a couple mine that I'd probably hang on to forever too. But that's it. Just something short about the chain cases. So if you have any questions or comments, as always, put them in the box below or send me an email. That's jimsfixitshop@gmail.com. Give it to everyone. Don't feel funny about sending me an email. That's what I'm here for. And in fact, when I get done with this, I'm going to sit down and answer about, 45 of them. So until next time, please subscribe. And when you get your machine all fixed up, don't unsubscribe. I need subscribers. Just shut the little notification bell off, and you won't be notified every time I put on a video. Some guys are waiting to watch videos, so they have theirs on. So I guess work safe, have fun, and keep on snapping, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. So long.